All right, so I last ended on an Arabic translation of the Syriac of the Diatessaron. I want to say, first of all, I admit that I'm kind of going a little off topic of incorporating Christianity with Rome, but what we're going to see in the next phase of these lectures is that um, Christianity, though coming from the Middle East and Eastern Rome being more grounded in the Eastern world, um, that Christianity um, becoming basically a part of the Roman world, Eastern and the Western, took on all of these other cultural elements. And the historical development of the religion has many different aspects, and society and Christian society. And one was the canonization of the Bible. And I thought it would be just good to go over it because I'm pretty sure you're not going to have an opportunity to get a lot of discussions of this. This was kind of a history of this part of the development was something I was curious about for years, and it took me a lot of side research to kind of develop some sort of mental conception about certain aspects of how Christianity developed within the Roman world and beyond. So I'm hoping you're finding this helpful and not too technical and abstract. Um, Basically, what I want you to see is that the Bible that you have, if you have a copy or you get one, it comes through history as well out of a context. And I wanted you to get a little feel for that context in middle with all this other thing. So in any case, I am going to keep incorporating that. So in the East, in 367 CE, Athanasius, he's the 20th bishop of Alexandria. I will do more discussions about bishops in a little bit. Was the first to name all 27 books of the New Testament as canonical. And just to clarify, if I haven't clarified canonical, in other words, it's a church that decides there's many books floating around claiming to be Christian. And various Christian organizations decide what they consider was authentic. You could just replace the word just to give you the essence of it, which are authentic, which are the real actual ones that we follow as opposed to something else. I'm not speaking against Mormons, but Mormons have a book with their New Testament called the Book of Mormon. That is not considered authentic to Christians that are not Mormon. Okay? The Catholics have books in their Bible that Protestants don't consider authentic, canonical, okay? In the canon, okay? And I'm going to show you a little bit more about that a little bit later. So I'm not trying to side with anybody on one of these. I'm just kind of pointing this out. And so the Assyrian church actually accepted only 22 books. And so, it's been complicated. It's been a process. I mean, let me just give you an example of something that's kind of interesting. In the Book of Jude, a book that's also been debated by even people like Martin Luther up to the Reformation, it's a short book. It's actually one chapter, so it has the verses 14, 15. And it says there, it was also about these that Enoch, the seventh from Adam, prophesied, saying, Behold, the Lord comes with tens of thousands of his holy ones to execute judgment on all and to convict all the ungodly of their deeds of ungodliness that they have committed in such an ungodly way, and all the harsh things that ungodly sinners have spoken against him. Now, there is a book of Enoch. It's found in the Dead Sea Scrolls, quite many copies, and the Ethiopian Coptic Church, the Ethiopian Church, has the Book of Enoch in their Bible. They're the only church that has the Book of Enoch. Notice what chapter 1 through 2, verse 9 says. The words of the blessings with which Enoch blessed the righteous chosen, who will be present on the day of tribulation to remove all the enemies, and the righteous will be saved. And he took up this discourse and said, Enoch, a righteous man whose eyes were opened by God, and who has visions of the Holy One in heaven, in which he showed me. Behold, he comes with a myriad of holy ones to execute judgments on all, and to destroy all the wicked, and to convict all flesh for all the wicked deeds that they have done, and the proud of and hard words that wicked sinners spoke against him. It's a relative paraphrase, but the Book of Jude and the Book of Enoch collaborate. And Jude drops the name Enoch and this verse as if it was understood by the audience. In the first century, it seems that there was a pocket of Jews that believed in the Book of Enoch. For whatever reason, it's not in the usual Christian canon. But it was books like this floating around, in this case coming from the Jewish tradition, not the Christian, that didn't make it into the Jewish canon of the Bible. It didn't make it to the majority of Christians. There's a quote that appears to be quoted in the Book of Jude that many Christian branches actually have in their Bible canon. And so this is the kind of stuff going on, okay? Just to give you an idea. Here's what the Catholics in the Greek Orthodox have. Tobit, Judith, additions to Esther. There's a book of Esther. They have more in there than other ones. There's a book of wisdom of Jesus ben Sirach or Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus is called. Baruch. Some have additions in the Septuagint to Jeremiah. Daniel has more in it, and it's than the Protestant or the Jewish book of Daniel. There's First and Second Maccabees. First and Second Maccabees, again, if you remember, First Maccabees was considered historical by Jews but not canonized. The Protestants have made their Old Testament look very similar to the Jewish, their canon. Later we'll find out, though, it was Protestants that took out these books and argued that they shouldn't be there, and the Jews don't use them, and then the Catholic and Orthodox Church is going to say, so what, are Jews the litmus test now from what books? These are what we've considered these holy, and now you're questioning them, and so on and so forth. Okay, there was the Epistle of Barnabas, which was found in an old 4th century codex, and it's a very interesting book because it depicts the prohibition against eating certain animals in the Old Testament, because the argument was that we would take on sexual attributes of the animals if we ate them. So you see here, moreover, thou shalt not eat the hare, meaning the rabbit. Why so? Thou shalt not be found a corrupter of boys, nor shalt thou become like such persons, for the hare gaineth one passage in the body every year. For according to the number of years it lives, it has just as many orifices. Again, neither shalt thou eat the hyena. Thou shalt not, saith he, become an adulterer or a fornicator, neither shalt thou resemble such persons. Why so? Because this animal changeth its nature year by year, and becometh at one time male, and at another female. And it goes on and on like this. And so, as we see down here, the essence of the text is here in verse 9. Concerning meats, then, Moses received 3 decrees to this effect, and uttered them in a spiritual sense, but they accepted them according to the lust of the flesh, as though they referred to eating. So we have passages like that, which the majority, no Christians, have in their canon now. Here's a kind of rough list of the development of the Bible canon by different church thinkers. And I'll leave it there at that for now. I might return to a little bit of that discussion later. I just need to address Gnosticism. Christianity was dealing with a competitor that had a mystical idea that incorporated Christianity. And there was a big battle between them, and Gnosticism could have won out. It didn't. It had dualism, moral behavior as being generally aesthetic in basis. Manichaeism was especially a competitor. Now, this was a major Gnostic religion founded by a prophet named Mani, around the 3rd century. He was Iranian by birth, Persian. He was born in what is now Iraq. He thrived between the 3rd and 7th centuries, or his ideas. And it was really a mainstream competition to Christianity. It synthesized teachings of Buddha, Zoroaster, right? He came from Iran, the Persian idea, and Jesus. And he basically had these teachings called the religion of light. Saint Augustine of Hippo, such an important Christian thinker to the Catholic Church, converted to Christianity from Manichaeanism in the year 387. Okay, so just think about that. I'm going to end it here and move on to the next section on Christianity.